morning, guys. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my Python course. In this course, we're gonna learn much more about data structures, Python data structures, such as sets and dictionaries and lists. For the beginners, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Hasan Zeki Alp. I'm a retired engineer. After retirement, I found so much time to entangle with different kinds of things, different kinds of interesting areas. Programming languages are one of them. So far, I have learned a dozen of programming languages. Python was one of them. In fact, at the beginning, I started with Python 2.x families, and after that, they improved new versions of Python, and I improved my development environment up to Python 3.7, and recently I uploaded Python 3.8 version. As far as I know, this is the latest version. I don't have any idea if it is stable or not, but so far so good. I found it very stable, and I use Python 3.8 version. By the way, I use PyCharm IDE as an environment to make the code running, and with you during all these Python lessons, I will be using PyCharm utility, and if our time allows me, I'm gonna change development environment to Anaconda Spider, because it is much more easier to make extra modules of Python with Spider utility, such as NumPy, Pandas, SkyPy, etc. Okay, I think that's enough for warm up. Let's go back our lessons. Okay, this is the phase 6, so we'll go on with list comprehensions. Just as I mentioned before, lists are one of the data structures in Python, so we can do so many different operations by using other features of Python. For example, let me describe here a cubes list, so as to include 3 times of, or cubes of letter I, cubes of variables within range 5. That means 5 will not be included. However, it's gonna start with 0. And let's make it printed and see the result. Okay, as we expected, the loop is performed, or iteration is performed 5 times, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and starting with 0, and cubes of our variable will be printed in list format. Okay, that means we can manipulate the things to be included in a list, instead of defining list one by one. Okay, this is another example with list comprehension, list operations. So this is multiplied by 2, this variable multiplied by 2 within a range of 10. So I'd like to make it printed here, and okay, let me do this. Okay, and that means double numbers will be printed up to 10. In fact, 9 is printed, but 9 after 9 is multiplied by 2, it gives 18. So again, 10 members will be included in a list, and after leaving an empty line here, so just focus on here. Let I for in range print once again. This is a single, okay, not multiplied, in pure form I can say, and here I leave another, and I create even numbers, just manipulating the remaining division, the division with remaining. You remember this notation? Okay, just whenever you see this, just you can see that if there is an equality, that means we are filtering the even numbers, right? Even numbers. For example, for 2, there will be no remaining value after dividing by 2. Okay, so our range is 10, so 10 will not be included, so even numbers will be like this, and I make it printed here, this paraphrasing even numbers. Okay, let me show you another example. So in this example I would like to show you formatted printed mechanism. Just here I define 0, 1, 0. That stands for somehow an indicator, and here the strings that we're gonna use in this format, and after that I leave a empty space here. Okay, let's go step by step. Yes, this is the first string, and this is the second string. So I say what I am saying here is accept this, and repeat this once again, and accept this one. Okay, abra will be printed, cat will be printed, and 0 stands to for abracadabra. This is the magic word, abracadabra. And after leaving an empty line, I here made another structure. This time I divided by 3 with remaining. That means triples of numbers will be filtered here. So starting from 0, not including 20 once again. So 0, 3, 6, 9, 11, 15, and 8 will be printed. As a summary, just we can manipulate anything within a list structure. Okay, I here define a list here named even. So I range in range I preferred 10 to the power of 100, and it's gonna be the ultimate limit. So I would like to get it printed. Just I gave this nonsense example just to show the case, because of course there will be a upper limit constraints of hardware. In fact, when we run this code, just as you see, we could not get exit 0 code. That means program still is running and of course consuming our memory. Just to mention once again, you have to careful about the upper limit. This upper limit should not exceed the possible positive number to be assigned as a variable. Okay, let's go to another demonstrating file. So here I use this range with span 9. That means stepping numbers, stepping value. So the variable will be multiplied by 10. So as we can expect, numbers of ten-folded numbers will be printed within the beginning 50 up to 80. Let me run this one. Okay, just here I use two different formats. In fact, first I assign this list to a variable named tens, and I try to print it and leave it empty line. And after that, instead of defining a list, I as a whole get it printed by applying print command. Okay, it's gonna give the same result. In this way, just we can save time, but for the sake of debugging purposes, this format will be much more preferable. In this way, developers can think this one is much more preferable, or the other ones might think that instead of wasting time line by line, just I can save time and space as long as it is understandable by the debugger. It is an option. I also prefer this one because it develops your mind, develops your IQ, and strives to run much more quickly in brain facilities, brain capabilities. I think this is my idea. Here another string formatting. I gave an example here. As a message will be constructed so as to have this format structure. Members 4, 5, 6. This is a list structure, and numbers will be. Okay. Let me run this. 0, 1, 2. So the first, the second, and the third members of nums list will be printed. Okay, so as to include 4, 5, and 6. Just we can filter by using this one. For example, just our list could have much more members, such as this. So only the formatted ones or the selected given ones will be printed by using this format structure. So there is another example here. So I define a structure here once again, so as to x equals to 5 and y equals to 12. So after printing 5, 12 will be printed without leaving any space here. Okay. Our another example. In this case, our string will include three members, so I can assign three different values or equal values for each string members, and after that I print it. And this is another format. Just I wanted to show it to you just after running this snippet. Just as it expected, C will be printed and A will be outside. So B will be middle of the printing, right? 9. Okay, just focus on this output. In case if we do not use any comma between the members, okay, if we do not use the same structure will be printed, okay, but the output will be completely different. So this can be a desirable thing, or this can create some imagines that what can be done by using this format. Just I found it in a surprising way. Just while I prepare this course before broadcasting, I made a mistake and just forget this one at first, like it was and I found that result similar, somehow different, like this. So just by omitting the other comma, okay, it becomes like this. So it's a hint. It can give an idea what can be done by using this format change. Here I go on with string functions. Just we can use join, replace, stars with, and with, upper and lower methods with strings. Let me define a string here as spam, and b equals to b is assigned as the upper and print b. So let's see the result. So spam, the letters of spam is converted to uppercase. As well, there is a lower for the uppercase words. What is our next demo? Also, it is possible to do numeric functions such as finding minimum, maximum, absolute value, summing, etc. Here I declare a list including these members, and this is another one. So in one line I try to find minimum value of this list, and here maximum value of this list, and absolute value, of course, absolute value once again, and some of the list members, and at last just I define a variable so as to include a combination of these numeric functions. Just before seeing the result, I would like to mention a few words about the power of Python. In fact, the ones who have learned other programming languages might find this very surprising, because finding a maximum member of a list or finding a minimum member of a list in other languages might require a few lines. In fact, you have to develop an algorithm in order to find the maximum value or you have to make a comparison with 0 so as to find out that it is a negative number or non-negative number. And also you have to make an iteration, or you have to construct a loop so as to sum the members of a list one by one. Just we can see that with the help of Python, due to Python's power, it is possible to do such things in a single command. Print this. Magic, not magic. It's developing, software development. So once again, this is gonna give the minimum number. 0 is the minimum number of these members. 8 will be max, and absolute value of minus 99 is plus 99, and absolute value of 42 again the same, and some of the members of a list will be printed here. 3 times 5, this is the average value. That means 15 will be printed, and at last there is a combination of the math operations here. So this is gonna give the members of this one, this and that, and it is gonna give after absolute value, absolute conversion, maximum value, and as a whole we are gonna calculate minimum of them, just to select the minimum of them. So after that 30 is found. Let's go with another one. Here example of any here. Okay, as an example for all and any application, just we can give such example. I here define a list so as to include these members, 5 members. If all, this is the keyword, in case I greater than 5 for I in nums. This is the format. Don't forget this semicolon. Print all longer than 5, all longer than 5, or all bigger than 5. That can be changed. If all, let me show you the structure. All, that means including almost all. And if any I divided by 2 with remaining value equals to 0, that means even numbers will be filtered here for I in nums, as long as in nums. And print this case, at least 1 is even, right? Okay, let's see the result of these 2. Okay, all longer than 5. Just this is the lower limit. In fact, lower limit. In case I is bigger than 5, will be selected. Okay. All longer than 5. Actually, this is a logical decision. It's gonna give a logical decision. All longer than 5. This is true, and that's why this is printed, right? This is true. This part of if phrase is true. And what about the other one? If any I is an even number for I in nums, for each numbers, so at least 1 is even. 1 is even. Okay. of course, one is even. In fact, there is more than one, but the keyword is any. As long as any one is encountered, is met, is found, it gives the true logic after here. Okay. And what is the last one? For y in enumerate nums. Okay. This new keyword for you. And print y. Print y. Print y. It's gonna give numbering as the first element, and it's gonna repeat it 5 times. Okay, it's beginning 0 to 5. Let me show this a little bit much more, please. Yes. Okay, by means of enumerate keyword, the data is enlisted somehow, enlisted, and print we. This is our members. Where we left in our next demo program. Okay. Our nums list is like this, including minus negative numbers. So I would like to filter. I would like to see all members which are less than 3, and for I in nums. Okay, this is gonna repeat it 5 times, right? Okay, this is gonna 5 times. And what will be filtered? The ones lower than absolute value lower than 3. Okay, just as a quick look, just we can estimate this and that will be printed. Okay, else if this rule is not observed, that means print 2. Okay, let's go one by one. After that I will paraphrase this. Okay, just as we expected, okay, sorry, just I confused here. The major keyword is all. So as long as all the members will meet this circumstance, this condition, this is gonna print this. But it, in fact, this is not true. Not all members less than 3. Okay, that means this section of this comparison will be skipped, will be omitted, and 2 will be printed. Sorry guys, just I confused by this keyword. And again, by leaving an empty line without giving any empty line, because there is nothing here, there is another all application, all usage here, so as to less than or equal to 5 for I in nums, print 1. The keyword, major keyword is all once again. So this time greater less than or greater less than or equal to 5 condition will be met for each members after absolute value conversion. Okay, so this in this case the first part of if comparison will be printed. Okay, because 1, 2, 3 and 4 are less than or equal to 5 in fact. In our other demo file, I would like to use text analyzer features, text analyzing capability. I here assign a file name here by using this input facility, and this is somehow is just like a written English saying a phrase, in fact, with open file name that you entered as a file name as f. Okay, this is the structure, this is the format. Text equals text will be assigned to f dot read and print text. Before going further, just I would like to mention that there has to be created a file text.txt here. I say this is a trial file and this is the end of the file as the file contents of this test txt. Let's go back our here. This structure will open the file and it's gonna print the contents, the text. So let's make it run and see. Enter a file name. So I'd like to mention it, test.txt. Okay, this is a trial. This is the end of the file. Will be printed. Okay, just I would like to mention one important thing here. While you do, you have to create. You have to be. You have to create previously beforehand the file so as to manipulate with the contents. But this must be within the same directory or within the same subdirectory. This is important. At the very first days, I try to develop my programming capability, but I did not be careful about. I'm not be careful about the subdirectories or directories where my text file. So just I was very upset when I didn't get the expected result. So users must be very careful where do they save their programs and where do they save the test files. And this was 35. And what is the other? So here my list is 55, 44, 4 members. So print maximum of minimum number semicolon 2, and it's somehow confusing at the first run, but let's go step by step. What's the value of nums semicolon 2? That means okay. Actually that corresponds to 42. Okay, 42, and this one 44. Understandable? Maximum of this this and this. It's gonna accept the first two part. No. The first starting with this one. Okay. After deciding which is the maximum, so we calculate 44. This is the end of lesson phase 006, and this is our next string to be printed, and let me show you the result. This is the end of Python, our Python lessons. In our next lesson there will be examples of functions and other data structures, and by the way, okay. At this point I would like to show you one more page. Before deciding this Python lessons, I visited many websites regarding with programming. One of them was solarlearn.com. The other was datacamp.com, and after completing courses with Python with these websites, I just tried to find out much more courses for Python, I mean advanced courses and sophisticated examples, and tutorials point and Replit and w3schools.com was very helpful for that, but users may not limit themselves because in internet environment there are so many different resources, and if you've got a suitable development environment, and if you've got example codes, just you can imagine and you can develop algorithms, whatever it is complicated, it is not problem. So just I would like to give a hint. Okay, at the very beginning you can copy paste the codes at first, but afterwards just you have to prefer codes by entering manually. I know it's gonna that means so much time to edit it, but it will be very helpful because any person, any human being might do typing and typing errors. So typing errors will be very useful just to see your faults, and you develop your syntax capability regarding with that language. Just I would like to mention this. That was very helpful for me because instead of copy pasting any code that is developed by yourself or by someone else, someone other, will not help so much. Each time you will encounter bugs, and instead of eliminating bugs, you have to go one by one, so you will become expert in this way. This is the end of course 6. This is somehow shorter than the others, I think, but there are so many things to transfer you, to show you, to teach you, I can say. And by now, be in peace. Thanks for your watching me, and thanks for your sparing time for me. Bye bye now. Have a nice day.